Supergrid Super Solution, a handbook for energy independence and a Europe free from fossil fuels. Written by Eddie O'Connor with Kevin O'Sullivan. Read by Heather O'Sullivan. Foreword to the second edition. Leslie O'Connor. Since the early 2000s, Eddie has been articulating the need for and advocating for the creation of a European supergrid. That is all my adult life. I was still an undergraduate in Trinity College Dublin when I first heard him speak publicly to promote the concept. It made sense intuitively, even then, well before anyone believed that renewable energy generation could outcompete fossil fuels. My brother Rob and I came of age at the explosion of the internet. A supergrid is simply the internet for electrons, routed seamlessly from clean wind, water and solar sources all around Europe, to where they are needed at any given moment. From 2008 to 2015, through financial crises, the rise of fossil gas as a transition fuel, and the advent of cost-competitive wind generation, Eddie advocated for the creation of the supergrid in Europe through the industrial working group Friends of the Supergrid. But as with all great ideas, the timing had to be right. Back then, neither a pan-European view of energy nor the technology required for efficient, broad geography transmission truly existed. Though frustrated, convinced as he was, he couldn't let go. He turned his attention to addressing the technology problem. Fully aware of the value of HVDC, the enterprising engineer saw the need for another solution: superconducting transmission, to address the challenge of decarbonisation, crucially in time, to benefit his young grandchildren. They would be in their 30s in 2050. Having founded and run renewable generation success stories Airtricity and Mainstream over the previous 2 decades, in 2018, Eddie backed the case for innovative grid technology to advance superconductivity for supergrids through his third enterprise, Supernode. With lockdown enabling an opportunity for reflection, Eddie, a regular writer, distilled 20 years of thinking about the opportunities and challenges in decarbonising Europe with the help of Kevin O'Sullivan to write his second book in 2 years, Supergrid Super Solution. This time, it was time. The imperative of energy security and price stability took new meaning following the invasion of Ukraine. Deep interconnection to enable 100% regionally sourced renewable energy generation. The grand idea of a meshed pan-European supergrid gained acceptance and support in energy ministries throughout the continent. Eddie spent much of 2023 amplifying the messages, advocating what is good for Europeans, good for Ireland, and equally peripheral coastal regions, what is necessary and urgent for future generations. Eddie's life's work is encapsulated in the big idea set out in this book. Ever a man of action, he dedicated himself to advancing it. Why am I doing this? He asked from the podium in the Irish Embassy in Berlin at the book's European launch in November 2023. Behind him, the slides changed to reveal a jubilant Eddie with his wife Hildegard, surrounded by their young grandchildren in all their wonder and innocence. My children, my nieces and nephew. Eddie died 6 weeks later. He couldn't live to see his great idea take shape beyond the page. He died too soon to see European master plans drawn up by master architects for delivery as a mega programme of mega projects, with innovative grid technologies proving naysayers wrong again, to wean us off fossil fuels for good, and in time for all our kids. Maybe he was never going to live to see it all delivered, but decades in the making, it was his gift to us, his greatest legacy. He took over our imagination with his message, his energy, and good humour. He showed us how much was possible and helped us move beyond the mundane. And more, he empowered and expected us to make the possible a reality. And so, this second edition comes as a passing of the torch. Compiled in the months following Eddie's death, it has been updated extensively, expanded with perspectives from beyond Europe, and rearranged as a handbook for easier reference. It recognises the importance of this moment in history, the responsibility we entrust to our policymakers during their new term in office, in this crucial decade for the fight against climate change. It demonstrates a shared commitment to honour Eddie's legacy by progressing to deliver his greatest vision, the Supergrid, for a fossil-free Europe, in a world electrified by renewable energy.